Whatever that is.
Come back a little more. I don't have many actually the same days. Oh, good. Moved everything on. I'm not sitting on the tennis side because I'm going to come back in a few minutes. Hello. Let's talk first, and then we'll tell them what to do with their tennis balls. What happened to my dad? There's mine. Hold on. You have to come and see me.
This is the integrated ones.
This is our.
I'm the other third.
Oh, good.
All right, well, this is Karen.
I don't have one. It's just Karen.
All right.
Karen told that I'm
Massage therapist.
way out in Worcester.
And I'm Marge Holtzman. I'm a massage therapist in New Jersey.
And I was a massage therapist at long time for 11 years. And then I went back to work in cancer research.
Yes.
And I'm in co-chair of research.
So if you're working with a new cancer,
Technically retired.
Working a lot.
and so
We thought we would start out with, since we're supposed to cover open to all the different integrative type therapies.
At least we're all familiar with on a personal basis.
And so we thought we'd start out with each person saying what either positive or negative experience they've had with a particular integrative therapy, whether it's massage or an herb or acupuncture or whatever. And if you want to do one positive, one negative, then you just need to.
Excuse me. They're trying to record each individual session. Like, it's not going to play over the PA. But obviously, if you folks don't want to be recorded, you don't have to be. But they're paying us to record. So if you can just kind of pass this around as each individual person speaks, then that will record the session. Just be careful, try not to touch the button. Just hold the microphone down bottom. So whoever, are you speaking now, ma'am?
I just.
You don't have to reiterate.
Okay.
Just pick up where you are.
Well, I'll just say it real quickly. Is this recording?
That's what he said.
Okay, all right. We are going to start by each person telling of one positive and or one negative experience that they've had with some particular type of integrative therapy, whether it's massage or acupuncture or herbs or whatever. And then we'll talk together as to ways to address any of those situations. Do you want to?
Let's start with the.
Okay.
Karen passing the mic to the first victim, June.
That's right, June. I am a hypnotist. I'm a school social worker also. I use massage therapy. I have a massage therapist that comes to my house twice a month, every other week. It's quite positive, although she takes credit for my back turning red when she works on it, says, "Oh, this is wonderful. There's all kinds of blood circulating here now." And I say to myself in my head, "No, I have mastocytosis, but go ahead and believe that if you want." It's on.
I'm Nancy. And the most positive, I've done a lot of alternative therapies, and I do some. I'm a practitioner, a Reiki practitioner, but the most positive is a little bit more out there than what we're talking about, which is some shamanic healing, which has transformed my life.
What kind of healing?
Shamanic healing.
Record it.
Shamanic healing. I don't want to do it.
What is shamanic healing?
That. Okay, so a shaman is
Here, I'll hold it for
I
you.
don't want to.
Oh,
I don't have to.
No, you don't.
Shamanic healing is shamans believe that pieces of your soul break off, fragment when you go through any kind of trauma. The trauma could be as simple as your parents went to the store and didn't take you. It could be some kind of abuse. It's whatever it is for you, and we all go through much trauma. And so I've had what's called soul retrievals, and the woman who is my shaman is also a medical doctor, so she works with that too. So, in a nutshell, that's what a shamanic healing is.
Well, I don't know. I don't think the name. My name is Sally, and I've used a lot of meditation and things related to this. Where there's a woman in Carlisle, which is where I'm from. Valerie. No, what is her name? Zoe Moran. And she's sort of a motivational speaker, and she talks about, going back to your imprint, which is where you just sort of wired by your parents. Everybody is, and learning to respond instead of react to things. That most of us just kind of react automatically to things, but if you can start to become aware and catch yourself, you can see, oh, I'm about to have an automatic response, which may not be what you want to do, and you can just sort of step back and say, let's check into what's going on out there, and you find that you're really taking something personal, maybe that's not intended that way at all, or it could be just traffic, learning to allow yourself to just say, well, I'm not going to get there on time because there's this line of stuff in front of me, and just allowing it to be. She talks about allowing the weather, allowing your husband, your children, and just sort of learning where your boundaries are so that you are not trying to control something which you have no control over. And I find that that's very helpful to me, because I think when I'm not being aware and not focusing on what I can manage and what I can't, I'm out there trying to do things that really have no effect on, and my stress levels are going up and my mast cells are probably getting activated, and eventually you go over the edge and you've got a reaction. So I don't know what to call it, but it's meditation, it's it's self-awareness, it's becoming conscious, it's so forth. So
Thank you, Sally.
On to you. I'm Rachel. I have pretty much no experience with alternative medicine whatsoever, but I've always been curious about it. I've had massages before, but never on a continuous basis. I always enjoy them. I don't know if it's a mast cell related thing or the fact that just massages feel good. So I guess my only thing about alternative medicine is that insurance doesn't cover it, so it's been hard to be something that I would be able to try because it's expensive, and I don't know that I could afford that out of pocket kind of right off the bat, but I was curious to learn more. So.
My name is Adam. I'm kind of in the same boat with her. Haven't really tried anything alternative medicine or had the real need to yet, so fingers crossed.
I don't have mastocytosis. I'm just a caregiver, and no, not really, because in general my husband has no symptoms. So it's just once every 5 or 6 or 10 years or so he has a shock episode. So otherwise there's no deal. But I am here just to listen. There is a young man who was diagnosed recently. Dr. Castells is his doctor. He just learned about this conference and stopped by. He was able to attend for the last couple of sessions, and he was very interested in alternative treatments. And so I was just going to try to take some notes and then email them to him.
Okay. What we would like to do with all of you, how many of you have had massages? I think. No? No? Yes? No. Okay. What we would like to do today is perhaps show you some, as far as massage therapy is concerned, some things that you can do to be helpful to yourself or to your significant other. And if you have questions about any other modalities, since between the three of us, we've experienced and or done energy work, like Reiki, integrated energy medicine, and also had acupuncture. So there are a lot of things that we may not practice, and some of them we do, but we have experience in it, so we'd be glad to tell you what our experiences are with the different modalities. So I think at this point, let's show them a couple massage things. Sound good? And Karen, would you like to...
Of course. Where do you start? Good question. What is massage therapy? It's touch. It's human touch. It's what a mother does to a child. If you leave a child alone without touch, it'll die. It does better with touch. People do better with touch. There's a lot of skin hunger out here, I refer to, which is we're so busy doing things that oftentimes we don't, the old hugs are the same thing. And there's actually a chemical reaction which takes place, which you may or may not be familiar with. People ask me what I do. I have no idea. I'm a body worker. I come from years of experience, hands-on stuff. I've done it as a child. It was just one of those things that I did. And when I became a professional, it was difficult to charge money because this was just, I had to sweat in order to earn it, And I experimented. In my earnest desire to help people feel better, which is kind of my calling, what I do. Sometimes I was overzealous. I did too much because I had 60 minutes, to accomplish everything. And I had this vision. I could see what's wrong over there, and I could read your body, and I could do this. And then I met Val Slee, who is a totally different kind of person, where if I touched and it was too rough, I could send her into shock. It's a big risk, but she came to the right place because I'm not afraid. I'm not the healer. I'm just the mechanic. So it's intuitive. Do you have any questions about these kinds of issues I'm just talking about? No. Okay.
I anticipated one kind of question might be, there's so many people with mastocytosis who are sensitive to smells.
Yeah.
That if you are going to a massage therapist for the first time, I think it would be wise and critical to let them know ahead of time that you are very sensitive to smells, because there are a lot of massage therapists who practice what's called aromatherapy, which is wonderful practice for a lot of people, but might not be the best thing for you. So to alert people that this is an issue, and if they are practicing it, their whole office may have smells. So you might be, no personal offense, but it would be better for you to go to somebody else. Okay? Yeah. Yeah. Now also this issue of rubbing, which would be great for most people, but might not be good for you. There are many different forms of massage, some of which do not involve rubbing per se. They're more involved with direct pressure. There's an oriental form of massage known as shiatsu, which is direct pressure and doesn't involve any kind of rubbing. There are related forms of body work. There's one known as Traeger, which involves just kind of rocking of limbs, and it's very gentle and very calming. There are different ways of addressing the issues that might be of concern to you.
And it's important also that
when you go for a massage or any kind of body work, you are the one receiving it. You are in control. If you do not like what is being done, it's up to you to say, that's too hard, I don't like that. For instance, one of the things that we were all taught when we learned massage is finish the massage with a light touch, a feather touch. Anybody does that to me, and I am climbing the wall. It's like they've touched every nerve ending in my body. So you have to be in charge. You're the client. You are in charge of whatever is being done to you. So take charge. Don't feel like you're going to offend somebody, because we were all trained to please you, not to please ourselves. And so don't feel shy about saying, I don't like that, or that area really feels good what you're doing. Would you do a little extra on that area? Because it's helping. So be involved in what's happening to you. Okay? Now, would you... Okay. Would you like to know what the tennis balls are for?
Can I ask a question?
Yes, you certainly
You're
can.
gonna know if anyone's going to know the answer, but I don't have mast cell. I get acupuncture a lot, and I love it, and it helps me with some body issues. But does anyone know how acupuncture, if you have mast cell, would acupuncture be a good thing, or would the needles go? I don't know what might happen. No one really knows the answer. You get acupuncture?
Acupuncture a lot.
I work with an acupuncturist, and I've seen, because I only know one mast cell patient.
You know a lot more now.
Yeah. Well, that was the goal of coming here, was like meeting one is unique, and then I met two, and then I start to compare bodies and what's going on, and how your knuckles look, how you get a better feel, because it's a small population. In Newton, I worked. Everybody has fibromyalgia, but now I'm beginning to rethink fibromyalgia all over again, to chronic fatigue,
But the acupuncture is. I am a masto patient, and for me, I have found it only to be helpful. I have never experienced any bad results from getting acupuncture. One of my issues is a GI issue. A colonoscopy can send me into pain for a week to a year afterward. And I found out that if the same day I get a colonoscopy, I make an appointment with the acupuncturist and she works on me, it reduces that cycle tremendously. And I invite you to experiment and make sure whatever practitioner you go to, many of them aren't going to know the masto diseases. They're not going to be familiar with it. You need to make them familiar and say, are you okay with this? If you walk in, I have rashes, so I have to tell them up front, I have rashes, they're not contagious, they're nothing for you to worry about, I can still get a massage.
But a good acupuncturist will know.
And a massage therapist too.
By taking, less so that Chinese medicine is 7,000 years old.
Right.
I didn't study it. I believed in it long before I experienced
it. I'm holding on to this.
No, you look good, really good with the mic. This is really good. To direct your answer, I work with an acupuncturist. And I never thought that I would be able to work my style with hers to make a compliment. But sometimes it's like, I need something else. Shingles, it's like I'm not going to work on those. But Diane will. And she's extremely good at stopping that progress. I mean, take your Valtrex too, but that particular. The needles are only the size of a hair. They don't hurt.
Right, no, I know.
Sometimes they hurt, though, if you're in the middle of
Every once in a while, there's an area.
Yeah. It's all about energy. You know it, being a shaman. There are many roads to the same result. Here you go. Your turn. Who else has a question?
Well, I'd like to just mention another complementary integrative kind of medicine, which is the practice of nutrition. Obviously very important for everybody, but especially if you're having food sensitivities. And there are ways to learn, and you're going to have to be the primary learner. There are a lot of resources out there. They have to make sense to you. There are lots of herbs. You know, in our society, we've come to where we tend to eat the same kind of foods and drink the same beverages. Yeah, everybody's drinking coffee, tea, soda pop, and that's about it, and water. But there are many herbs that have effects. Now, there are also people who have allergies to different herbs. But there are herbs that can help you sleep, that can help you calm down, that can wake you up, other than the standard coffee or tea. So think about that, and there are online resources where you can go to recognized websites that have authoritative analysis of herbs, and there are organizations that exist for analyzing the content of nutritional supplements to see if they really contain what they say they contain. So when you hear that none of this is regulated, it's not quite true. It's not. The FDA actually has authority to regulate many of the supplements, but they're overwhelmed just keeping up with the regular pharmaceuticals. But there are a lot of ad hoc kinds of organizations that have sprung up to evaluate the herbal and other nutritional supplements. So,
let's show you some things.
Yeah.
So, yes.
Could you recommend any of those organizations? Or I mean, if you go online, you can get lots of stuff, but you don't know which ones are legitimate.
Do you have a doctor that knows? Do you go to any physician that knows about?
No, in fact, my husband isn't even interested. I was just interested for Andrew.
Yeah. Well, in fact, you can go to it's the National Institutes of Health. They have a center for complementary integrative medicine.
Okay.
And they have links to a lot of reliable places.
Okay.
There's an organization called the American Botanical Council. They have a website, and they are very concerned with the quality of herbs and also with the history of uses of different herbs. There's another organization called ConsumerLab.com, which was founded by people from the FDA specifically to review herbal and other nutritional supplements. So those are main ones.
Great. Let's show you what these tennis balls are for. Okay.
I'll hold it for
you. You better. I need a wall. You need a wall, or you can lay on the floor to use them. And some of the best areas to work on are the hips. This is kind of a wrong level. And you just put it against the wall and you roll around. And you get into those, what we call trigger points of where, and it doesn't feel good. I will warn you, it doesn't feel good. But when you're finished, it's like, at last, some relief. It's like you turning to someone and saying, could you give me a massage? Could you rub my neck? Could you do this for me because it really hurts? Now, you could take a step further. You all have your tennis ball that you can use. A step further is to put the tennis ball in a sock. And I like to use the nylon ones because they'll stretch. Now you have something that's going to hold the place that you don't have to worry about. And and then
my lab would have that ball and then sock in 2 seconds.
oh, I know. So you get it and you can hold it in place and you can get in to another area, a shoulder. Now, if you want 2 tennis balls, you tie it together and then you have it on either side of your spine. And you get up against the wall and you can rub the muscles in your spine. And believe me, when you've had a long day, and whose shoulders ever bothered them? No to you too? You know, we tend to during the day, the shoulders go up and up and up. And to be able to have a tool at your hand to be able to help relieve some of that tension is wonderful, because there isn't always somebody around to help you with that. So that's what the tennis balls are for. So take them and enjoy them. Now, why don't you show them the ocean and the seaweed? Another relaxation.
I need a volunteer for this. So, we're going to pretend that you are the ocean and I am seaweed. Okay? That'd be hard to visualize. and my feet are the roots of the seaweed that are anchored down in the floor of the ocean. So my roots are anchored, but the upper part is free to move with the currents of the ocean. So you're the currents, so you can push on me any place that you like. Now, if I stand here and I resist her pushing, go ahead and push. That's tension. I can feel the tension all the way down here. Okay, so now you push and I'm going to give with this.
Push other directions with one hand.
No tension. But I'm having to keep balance.
Now, reverse it and let her feel what it feels like to be the seaweed.
Oh, yeah, okay. Your feet are anchored. You are flexible.
Now, what's your reaction to that?
It feels nice. It feels like you're stretching.
Yeah.
Kind of, yeah.
Yeah, you
Kind of
find out
relaxing.
all the different ways that you can move. So why don't we have everybody get up here and try it? Just try it. Just grab the next person as a partner.
Karen, partner?
So you're giving me permission to push him? Is that what
Yeah.
Hey, Sean, come on. We're going to move on.
You're going to move on?
Yeah.
You're going to leave us?
Yeah.
Okay.
Before I have seaweed, are there any particular herbs that you have found useful for mastocytosis?
You know, it depends on what's going on with you with the mastocytosis. You know, it's just like the pharmaceutical. There are no magic herbs. Nobody's done a study to find out if this herb actually can repair these mast cells.
Right.
Now, maybe there's an herb that can do that. You know, there are so many different herbs, and the thing about herbs and plants is that plants have like thousands of compounds in them.
So the roots can do different things than the stems, than the leaves, and
right.
Yeah,
right,
yeah.
right.
And it also depends on how much rainfall they got when they were growing, when they were harvested, as to how potent they are. Where 99%
99% of pharmaceuticals come from plants. But what they've done with pharmaceuticals is isolate.
I'll show you what. Do you know how to use the gopher?
I do not. No. So you have this. So that you have known strength and known purity, which is good.
Right.
But that also has the effect you lose all the synergistic effects of the other compounds in the plant, some of which are there to prevent excess reactions to one particular thing. So it's an art and a science to learn what works for you and your body. And that's why, Chinese medicine is thousands of years old. And most of their medicines have...
I just want to remind you that we're about halfway through our session, so if anybody would like to switch to another group or take advantage of another opportunity to speak to different physicians, you should think about moving that.
Good.
And some things that I will just send on to Andrew. I know he wanted to try to participate in this because he's not excited about taking a lot of typical chemicals.
Right. Well, I encourage him to investigate what's there in herbs.
A lot of it's going to be trial and error.
Yeah, it is. But the thing is, you're not apt to get dramatic effects fast. But as you learn what things appeal to you, by the smell or the taste or how you feel, or at least if you're not reacting against them, you start to find a path. Okay, you're very welcome.
Kind of have to relax to do that. Yeah. Oh, I love that.
Isn't that amazing? That's her.
That is a good idea. That is very creative.
I didn't create. I can't take credit for it. I learned it from a martial artist.
Oh, that's a good idea.
Yeah, because they work with, you don't confront force direct.
Right.
You move with it.
Right, you react.
Yeah.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah.
That is great.
Yeah.
That's good. So there are a lot of great, easy techniques then.
Yes.
Yeah. Ball, right?
That's your ball.
Your ball.
My ball. I should have to fight my dog for it.
Good. So, do you have any other questions?
I don't. I go to acupuncture several times a week.
Okay.
And I didn't know if anyone else was involved with acupuncture, and I guess I was wondering what successes they had.
Yeah. What effects are you feeling, if any?
I've been going for about 6 months, 2 to 3 times a week. It's very cost prohibitive, though, because that's $165 a week for me, and my insurance doesn't cover it.
Right.
What I have found, though, symptoms, it will help even out some things. Plus, when I go, he feels half the benefit is I'm in this room relaxing and meditating for a half hour, and that's probably half of it too.
That's a big thing.
It really is. I think that's almost, I don't know how much is that and change of seasons, and it's kind of hard to tell.
Right.
But a lot of it is definitely the stress.
Oh, sure. And you hear so many people having problems reacting to emotional stresses, and then all the mast cells react, and
without a doubt.
Yeah, there has to be a way to work with that system.
I would agree. It's just not predictable, though. One day I can exercise, I'm doing fine. The next day I don't have the strength.
Yeah.
So it's always reacting.
Yeah. But you may learn more and more as you go.
That's what I'm hoping. That's why this was good, for me to come from Illinois to here to see what this was about.
Good. Well, we're glad you did.
Well, thank you. I've got my tennis ball. I can use this to help me.
Good. Okay.
You have a good rest of your day.
Thank you.
Be careful with the weather.
Right.
Thank you. Oh, you're very welcome.
It's something simple you can do for each other to help get those shoulders down.
Yeah.
Okay? Now, we losing her?
Yes.
Oh, you lost me?
Oh, no. Oh, you can stay. I thought she made an announcement. No.
Oh, she wants everybody to move now?
No,
She
no.
said
She's
that it was
saying that it's
halfway through, so if you wanted to go.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Now,
Okay.
there's another subtle stretch you can do for yourself when you start to feel all the tension through here. We do all of our work this way. Everything we do, we're always putting our arms forward. So, you know, bodybuilders who say we need to strengthen our pecs,
No.
our pecs are strong enough. We need to strengthen the back muscles to support the rest of our body, because everything we do forward is pulling. So if you envision, here's what's happening to your pecs by all the forward work you do. So everybody stand.
Sit so that I don't have.
Come on, Karen.
I'm just watching. Just getting by.
You can come in with
Yeah,
us.
we need you.
Yeah. And we'll give you a tennis ball also. Okay, so what you do is you're going to get yourself kind of loose, kind of move things around a little bit. You don't have to do it big time, but just kind of move it around so you can feel a little more relaxed. Slightly bend your knees. I don't even need to see that they're bent, but what I don't want is like they're locked together. I want them slightly bent. And then you're going to take a nice deep breath and let it out. And nice deep breath. Don't pull your shoulders up, just a deep breath. You can even make a noise with it if you want to. And then you're just going to take your hands. They're laying at your side, and you're going to take your hands, and you're going to turn your hands open. What's happening to your shoulders? They go back. Can you feel the tension? And if you don't feel them going back, you're doing this. You're doing the bottom. You need to let the whole arm go back, and you'll feel it. And where do you feel it? Do you feel it between the shoulder blades?
Yes.
Okay. Now, the goal is to let go of your arms and let them hang loose without letting your shoulders go. And see what that feels like. And that's the position you should be in. You can move around and move your arms and everything, but see what that feels like, that you're pulling those back muscles together and you're strengthening the back. Now, you can do this anywhere, anytime. You know, you work in an office, wherever you are, when you feel that yourself getting that tightness, just take a deep breath, relax. And I always like to also just kind of move my head around so my head feels like it's in the center. And you don't have to do anything big time. Don't do it that much.
My neck a lot.
Just kind of let it loosen up and get it in that center position, you know. And then just take your hands, turn them, and you should feel it in the back. And then just let the hands go and just go about your business. You know?
And try to stay in that position.
Stay in it as long. You won't stay, especially. You'll stay in it longer and longer.
It's good.
As you practice doing it, and it can be done anytime, anywhere. How many times you at the kitchen sink, and all of a sudden you realize, oh. And so that's what you need to do. Is just get yourself in a relaxed position, okay?
I have scoliosis, so
Yes.
for me that's always the challenge. It's always the challenge, just the posture and
Yes.
try to be mindful of it, but it's not easy.
Yeah. And another thing you can do is, if you're sitting at your desk or someplace, is just mentally think, drop your shoulders, and you will be amazed how much your shoulders go down just with the mental process. And you'll think, oh my God, where were my shoulders before I thought that? And so just think about doing that. And it's a moment of relaxation, okay? And drink a lot of water. Now, a couple people that don't have tennis balls.
You know, speaking of reacting, there's one form of, it's a psychotherapy kind of a thing, where you make a point of noticing what happens in your body when, let's say, somebody says a certain thing to you, like peace in the world, or we need to go to war, or whatever. You could have hundreds of different things, and different people will have different effects in their bodies. Some people's throats will tighten. Some people, their stomach will turn over. I've had situations where somebody made me angry and I wanted to hit them, but I didn't, because I didn't want to be fired from my job. And all of that is in your body and it's in your mind. I had that experience of wanting to hit someone and not doing it. The next morning, I broke out in shingles on that shoulder.
Holding that.
Yeah.
The mindfulness about that.
Right.
The type of psychotherapy. Mindfulness work is so important because it really is related to stress reduction.
Right.
The first step is just awareness.
Yeah. You know, we've been hearing so many lectures in the past 2 days about little cells in our bodies that we can't even see, and chemicals that they're producing. But the muscles, the fluids that are floating around our body, that's the sea in which all these little cells are swimming.
Right.
Or producing their chemicals.
Everything going on in our emotions and everything, I believe it all affects our body.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Particularly with this.
Right, and stress is such a huge trigger for so many things too. It's really
Yeah.
learning those techniques to calm us down and sort of center.
Yeah. And it doesn't mean that you shouldn't react to anything. You'd have to be dead not to react. Yeah, it's awareness and choosing to some extent how you're going to react.
Right.
Yeah.
The two of you didn't get to find out how to use the tennis ball. Okay. Keep repeating this.
Thank you very much.
Very well. Come on over, ladies, so you can see where we are. I've recorded this enough. I've recorded it 3 times.
People will be tired of hearing
Yeah, you
it.
can sit. Yeah. Tennis ball is a wonderful way to relieve tension in muscles. The way you do it is put it where it hurts, lean against the wall, and rub around.
Things that you recommend.
There's massage therapy, there's energy therapies, different types of energy therapy, like Reiki, integrated energy therapy, many different kinds of energy therapy, which is light or no touch at all.
And very wonderful.
It's very calming. There's acupuncture.
So I went once and I didn't really enjoy the experience, but it was actually because they didn't know at the time. I had problems with dizziness from the mast cell problem, and they thought it was like at first they thought it was ear related. So I don't know if I went back, like whether it would be more helpful.
Well, you know, this is where, did you know you had it? You didn't know you had the mast cell?
I did, but they didn't at first know that that's what was causing the symptoms.
So it's like with any caregiver we go to, we have to tell them, because I have mast cell issues also. Right. We have to tell them what we have. And as you probably know, most of them are going to say, oh, I don't really know anything about it. So you have to be prepared to teach them something. And help them to understand, even if you have to send them literature, you need to be talking to them before you appear in their office when you're going to alternative medicine. You talk to them, you say, here's what's going on for me. Do you think you can help me? And are you willing to work with me? And if you have rashes, you've got to say, I have rashes, I'm not contagious.
Right, that's true.
And it's safe to work on me.
yes, if you're getting a massage and you've got a rash, you get red with somebody rubs you, you're going to be red. There's going to be some flushing.
But if you work with someone, like you said, you develop a relationship with that person, even around oils, massage oils, I always say no fragrance, nothing.
Yes.
Has to be just...
And that is very important. We were talking earlier, you need to, when you make an appointment with a therapist, you want to know, do you do aromatherapy? And if they do, there's a good chance you don't want to go to them.
Okay.
Not because and there's anything wrong with aromatherapy. It's wonderful for a lot of people. But if we're sensitive to smells, those smells don't leave that massage room. They're there, and the instant you walk in, they hit you like a bolt of lightning. So make sure that you ask questions.
And sometimes the combination, I like certain fragrances, certain things, lavender, different things are very nice, but the combination of the fragrance with the massage, what it does to my skin creates the hives.
Yes.
So sometimes it's just knowing what the triggers are, I think.
Yes.
For you. But massage is just
Yeah, I used to go a lot, and I have gotten out of the habit, so I used to go.
Yeah.
But you do think Reiki too? Because I've done a little bit of Reiki. I'd like to do more. What about cranial sacral?
It's wonderful work. It's wonderful work. It's an extremely gentle, and probably for those that are having a lot of body issues with the spine and headaches and everything, the cranial sacral work is great. Like any other modality, you need to know how well the practitioner knows their trade. And
Brigham now has an integrated center at 850 Boylston, so it's the Osher Center. My neurologist, they're recommending cranial sacral.
Right.
He said, but I would go there where I know that they know what they're doing for patients.
Right. Exactly.
Migraine has issues.
Yeah.
I'm just going to run to one other group, but thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Enjoy.
Thank you.
Do you want to?
What's your name?
Marge Holtzman.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Oh, you're very much fluid that stays in your brain and the whole spinal cord.
And he was feeling a rhythm to that fluid. Well, it kind of makes sense. Our blood has a rhythm to it. Our lymphatic system, everything is pulsing. And craniosacral therapy people work with that rhythm, and they become very sensitive to the rhythm. Now, I took a workshop in craniosacral therapy. I was not sensitive enough to distinguish that rhythm from regular blood pressure kind of rhythm. But so I think it's something, it's like having a sensitive musical ear. It's something that you develop. And there are probably people who are very good at detecting that. There's supposedly Chinese acupuncturists become very sensitive to rhythms. They can detect like 27 different rhythms within your blood, just feeling your pulse.
The pulses, there's several different locations they take the pulse.
Yeah, what they're feeling. And so I don't want to say that there is or is not a rhythm, just because I did not feel it.
Yeah.
If I had stayed with it for several years, I might have gotten sensitive enough to feel it. And I've heard really impressive results from people who had problems and went to.
In about 5 minutes,
and I've also heard the opposite.
Your questions.
So it's another thing you need to experience and say, what did I feel? And you probably won't know the first time. You would have to go like several times, and then you could say, well, I'm in a position to say this did or did not help me.
I mean, it's not going to be one of the, it seems like it's not going to be one of those things where you can go once and go, oh, that was so worth it.
Well,
Right. Some things are. It might be. It might be.
I have, and I thought it was due to an epidural shot. But I'm suspecting now that it may be the masto issues. Okay.
You don't ever move them back.
Everything goes back
Do you
to
have masto as well?
No.
And
I've had other health issues.
And I was getting together with a lot of friends who were massage therapists, and one of them did cranial sacral. And I have neuropathy in both of my feet from the shot, from it, and it's by the end of the day, my feet feel like somebody lit a match underneath them. I can't wait to get my shoes off.
Wow.
Your feet always hurt.
My feet always hurt, but that's because I have flat feet.
Yeah. So.
Not necessarily. I have flat.
So I went. I asked one of the gals to do the cranial sacral work on me, and I actually, when she finished, I was almost. In fact, I do think I fell asleep while she was doing the work, and my feet felt so much better for a few days after she did the cranial sacral work. So we may or may not feel an effect right away through any of the modalities. You know, nothing's a quick cure. Some people can't tolerate massage with the masto. Somebody here that she has mastocytosis in the family, she cannot tolerate it. She goes into a bad episode after every massage. She loves it, but it doesn't love her. Her daughter, on the other hand, who also has masto disorders, loves massage and responds to it, and it doesn't bother her. So we have to know our own bodies.
Can I have a quick question?
Okay,
Yes.
everybody, I regret to tell you that we have to bring the conference to a close now. I have physicians that need to get home to their families before the snow
I guess the
hits.
question is,
And
so it's
we
more of
have,
a, it's half
we
like
have
bone
members that
thing,
need
so
to
I've
get home to
developed
the
like
families before
achiness
the
and stuff
snow
like
hits.
that in the last
Thank you
6
very,
months, like
very
bone
much.
achiness and stuff.
We have one more
he always
off
rubs my
tonight.
back for me. And I've noticed lately, like, he
River
usually is like
Lombardi,
the same amount of pressure, but all of a sudden it
If you
seems
could
like too
come forward,
much,
you
and it
won
actually
the Washington
hurts.
Monument of
So
the
is it possible
earthquake.
that that's I didn't know if that's why I
You
threw her
got
back. I know
more
it was
pressure.
that like my bone, that I could have gotten more sensitive
So
to
if you
it, because
could
I've
come
always
forward to
liked,
play
like,
that.
when someone rubs my neck, if they do it really hard, it always felt nice. And now it like,
It's starting to hurt.
I've noticed also I'm wincing and it hurts, and I'm like, wait, this is too, when it was the same it would have been 6 months ago.
For whatever reason, you've become more sensitive to
It's my back, like if he like presses on my spine too hard, it starts to hurt. But I've never had any.
So you back off, and if you're going to a massage therapist, you have them.
I would have said
back.
something. I'm just curious as to what could have caused the change. I was going to ask about the bone pain, but they were all like talking about having no bone density whatsoever, and I'm like, it seems like too minor of an issue to even bring up. I was just curious.
Yeah, but you know what? Go back over there and be the first person to ask the question.
I'll go bug the doctor when there's less people put their hands up. So.
Yeah. But we do. Our bodies react differently all the time.
Yeah, no,
and
mine's pretty unpredictable as far as math goes.
Yes. But what you need to do is just know what today is presenting and go accordingly. Okay,
I'm
following. Okay.
Vocal about it.
Yes. Being vocal is very important.
I have one other last question. Is there any good, I'm not familiar with any of the other types of alternative therapy, but is there any good massage stuff for bad circulation? I have Raynaud's in my hands and feet, and it gets, when we're doing this like this, my hands are going tingly already.
So you probably got pressure going on up here.
In the pecs area.
Because if I...
Could it be from her carrying that gigantic bag?
That'll do it.
But then I gotta carry a backpack to and from work to put my clothes. I don't really have any good alternatives. I broke all the wheels off the rolling suitcase pretty much.
Well, get a new one.
I'm trying to find one that'll
survive.
It's all broken.
I had an experience once. I was dealing with back issues and shoulder issues, you name it. and I picked up the laundry basket. So, see this?
Yeah.
You know, and which is I've done 1,000 times. And I set it down on the counter, and all of a sudden I realized that my muscles were still in that same position. And I thought, oh, wait a minute. Okay. Let it go. You know, it's like I was still carrying the laundry basket.
Right.
You know, so a lot of it is learning about your body.
If I sit at my computer and I'm like typing for too long, if I go like this and make a fist and try and release, nothing happens.
Yeah. And you know what? Your tennis ball.
Oh yeah.
When you're sitting and watching TV, use that tennis ball on your fingers.
You've got one of those squeezy, rubbery, whatever, the things that are meant for gripping.
Yeah, I have. There's this
putty stuff.
It's called Power Putty. It's people use it for like to train their hands for rock climbing, and I love that stuff. I'll just sit there and just go like this. Yeah, it's in my drawer.
Tennis balls are good for your feet too, especially if you have flat feet.
Yeah, like he has problems. Like I wear flip flops. I used to wear them like before my feet started getting such bad circulation. Now they're cold all the time. I used to wear flip flops like 9 months out of the year. If you wear flip flops for like 2 hours, they hurt your feet.
Okay, there is a way, and you should be doing it too.
Okay, what is it?
There is a way to get a flip-flop that has arch support to it. That's what you should be wearing. When I went to somebody who does it's a massage therapist, but I call him my torturer because he only works on me for 10 or 15 minutes, and it hurts. I'm climbing off the table to get away from him, but when he's through, it's
feels
like
so much better.
I'm better. And I have last 2 times I've had this boot on because of a stress fracture. And he said, Margie, I've had 7 people in 2 weeks with stress fractures. And he says, I don't think this is your problem, but he said all the others were wearing flip-flops. And he said one young man was even out playing basketball in flip-flops.
In
flip-flops.
What haven't I done in flip-flops?
Okay, she refuses to wear any flip-flops, except the ones from Old Navy that are completely flat.
Well, they're cheap.
Yeah, spend some money on it. Get a good one.
You don't spend money on your shoes, you're going to end up spending it on your feet.
And on your body, the rest of your body.
I'll say this, I'm not one of those women who wears uncomfortable high heels. I like heels, but I only wear the ones that I can walk in all day without hurting.
And I these shoes.
It's a waste.
I've had these shoes for over a year now, and they're probably the most comfortable shoes I've had. And like with the insoles,
like them more than I do.
With the insoles in them, I can walk. I haven't taken these off since the morning. They're since noon, and I'm completely comfortable. So.
Yeah, these are a size too big on me, but they're my mom's.
Shoes are more. I have insoles.
It's important with flat feet. It makes a big difference.
Well,